Hey, lean in. Have you ever found yourself suddenly in the role of caregiver and thought, wait, how did I get here? And what the heck do I do now? Maybe it snuck up on you slowly, or maybe it hit you overnight. Either way, it's one of the most emotional, confusing, and often isolating roles we step into in midlife. I'm Jody Silverman, life coach, empowerment speaker, and your host here at Beyond Empty Nest. And today, I'm handing the mic to someone who knows this world intimately, not just the caregiving side, but the being prepared to be cared for side. Yup, that's a thing. And trust me, it's powerful. Cheryl Rothbart is 75, rocking purple hair, purpose, and a brand new chapter as a caregiving coach. She's not slowing down, she's just getting started. Cheryl's story and mission will open your heart, shift your mindset, and just might change how you prepare for your own future. And if caregiving has touched your life in any way, or if you want to feel more confident and equipped for what's ahead, you can reach out to Cheryl after the show. Her contact information is linked in our show notes. Let's dive in. Hi, Cheryl, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
I'm so happy you're here. Fun fact, Cheryl is one of our amazing Dare On members. We call ourselves the Double Darers, and she dared to join our membership community. And when I found out more about you, Cheryl, and everything that you've done and everything you're about to do, and that you are actually doing, I'm like, you have to be on the show. You have to be on the show. But before we dive into all of that, share a little bit about who you are with our audience.
All right. Well, thanks, Jody. I'm so happy to be here. And it's perfect. One of the reasons I started following you was because of there's more to do after midlife. And for years, I've worked in the nonprofit community, mostly in healthcare and geriatric healthcare. And along the way, I became a caregiver for four different people. In fact, I'm still caregiving for my sister, who is older than I am. I'm 75. And so I've always wanted to coach. I've kind of been the person that people have come to. And I thought, well, at this stage of my life, what better thing to do than to become a caregiving coach? But caregiving from the side of being prepared to be cared for, because what I've seen along the way of caring for people is that they are not fully prepared, both emotionally and legally, to
Mm.
prepare and have your wishes really attuned to.
So and that's what I loved most. It wasn't just about being a caregiver, it was about preparing yourself to be cared for. Because at some point in time, all of us are going to need some level of support and care from the people closest to us, or maybe not even close to us, but maybe an organization, even.
Friend,
Mhm. So I love that. I didn't, and I know you shared it with me, but when you said you've cared for four people in your life, and it is really, it's part of aging. It's part of getting older. I mean, I know you say you're 75, I'm 59. You know, my parents touch wood, touch every metal wood you can. They're all really in good health. And yet I can see how moving on, but I was a caregiver and I was part of the caregiving team for my in-laws and my sister-in-law. I know firsthand the toll that can take on you personally, and I can see the conflict that could arise if you don't prepare and talk about your wishes. And we didn't have a ton of conflict, but there were like minor little nuances that were never expressed, and that was left up to us to say, well, I think this is what they would want, and we don't want that, right? We don't want that.
exactly.
So,
And you can never be prepared too early. One of the people I cared for was my son, who at 40 had cancer. Well, I never thought that I would be a caregiver for my son,
yeah.
and neither of us were prepared to do this. And that's one of the driving forces that said, you really need to be prepared early. And I think that it's a gift and a responsibility to be prepared, not only for yourself, but so the person you're caring for, their wishes are being followed.
I like that. It is a gift. It is a gift. You know, it's interesting. You made me think of something. My stepfather is a funeral director, and he started with the funeral home as the main point person for helping people set up their pre-arrangements. So people like me to make a prearrangement so that God forbid, when the day happens, my family doesn't have to worry about in their grief all the little details and pick out a casket and do this and at first I'm like prearrangements, and then I thought as I'm watching, as I'm getting older and I see people getting sick, or it's a very important. So that's part of planning
Yep.
everything. So it
Yep.
is very important.
And
It is.
I think it's interesting to get your obituary written by yourself.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I think you laugh, but yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My dad wants to plan the whole party.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get it. All right, so we're gonna dive into a little bit more about things like what can happen when you're not prepared, how to have the hard conversations. But before we do that, you know, you did share you're 75. You shared what you've done in the past, that you worked in the world of healthcare, and the show is called Beyond Empty Nest. You know, why at this stage in your life did you feel that pull, that need to begin this journey to help others? Because, quite frankly, a lot of people are like, I can't wait to slow down. I can just chill out. I can do whatever I want. And you're starting a whole career, and you're starting like building websites and doing all the stuff that goes with it today. So, why? Why is this so important to you?
Um, I just feel like I have more to do in this world, that
Hmm.
I want to really give back something tangible. And it's re-energizing me. I definitely do not feel like I'm 75.
No, no. And if you're not watching this and you're listening, I'm going to dare you to go watch it because she's the coolest purple hair. Coolest purple hair. She's the coolest. But so, and that's interesting. It's re-energized you. Meaning it's given you, I mean, when you say that, like that's purpose, you're doing something purposeful and meaningful, but you're choosing to do it. That I think that's the beauty of being at the stage of life you're at, that you get to choose it.
Right. I know I'm my own boss. All the things that were stressors while you're working for someone else,
Yeah,
all of those years, over 50 years in the workforce. And now I enjoy sitting down at the computer, and I'm a real people person. So I just love being able to converse and help people. And so it's been great.
I love that. I love that. So this is what when we say there's so much more waiting in this midlife and beyond. There's third chapters, fourth chapters, fifth chapters. I mean, the gift in that is that you get to choose what it is. And if you don't know, and a lot of people, I'm going to pause here and say, a lot of listeners right now, there's at least one woman listening saying, "But how do I know what I want to do?" Like Cheryl knows what she wants to do. It's okay. That's what the daring's all about. It's like just make a list, right? Make a list of things you've always wanted to try, things you used to like doing, but you put them on the back burner and just try them and watch what happens. You will discover something you didn't really know about yourself. You might meet that person that you never met before. So,
Yeah.
you can be a yes, but or a yes, and person. And if you're listening saying, yes, but Cheryl, no, well, you know what? You can know too.
Yeah, and it's not even about, starting a business, but
No.
hobbies. Think of the things that you've missed out on
Yeah.
that you'd like to learn or to get back
Mhm.
into. And
Yeah.
I've been one of the important things to me was finding a balance of between life and what I'm doing. And so I have a lot of hobbies. I do paper crafting, I play mahjong, and I make sure a couple days a week that that's on my to-do list.
I love that. I love that. You make it an appointment on your to-do list. I love it. Hobbies on your to-do list. Go figure. All right. So, Cheryl, what can happen if and when we're not prepared for for this caregiving stage of our life?
I think, well, number one, two things. First of off, legally. It's important to have your do not resuscitate. It's your will, all of these things of how you want all of your things to be cared for, who to give it to, who is going to care for you,
Mm,
and having conversations with the people. A good example is that when you're doing your do not resuscitate form, a lot of people are not choosing their loved one. They're choosing
Really?
someone who really would pull the plug,
Oh,
who will
because even though a loved one
understand.
says they can when it comes down to it, even though you've given them the permission.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. And then I've had people who said, my friend, my mother-in-law, um, someone else who they know is going to happen, to be able to fulfill your wishes. There are a lot of things, financially, that you need to
Yeah.
do, especially if someone is on the road to having to go into a nursing home or a facility. And to protect your assets, there are different trusts that you could do to protect your assets. So legally, those things should be taken care of.
Okay.
And you need to have guardians for your children, because you
Yes.
never know, and that should be the first factor.
Yeah,
And
especially if you're
emotion,
listening, if you do have young children, if they're not of legal age, if they're not 18 or older, must have guardians set aside for
yes,
them. Yeah.
yes, yes, and all of these things go along with it to make sure that they're taken care of,
Yeah.
and that whoever is knows that they'll be taken care of.
Yeah.
The other thing is emotionally, and I think that people don't understand, especially when you have a long-term illness. um, you really need to give yourself time to grieve. And I'm becoming a certified grief counselor, along this journey. But you don't you the person changes. Even my son at 40, his trajectory of his life has changed when he got cancer.
Oh,
And
yeah,
so,
that has to change you.
and especially dementia is a downhill slope,
Yeah.
and it's much easier to deal with the person if you understand that you've kind of said goodbye to that person you knew, and now are saying hello to who that new person is, rather than trying to get them back to where they were.
You know what? You said that to me when you join the membership. I have a one-on-one Zoom with every new member. I want to get to know my members. I want them to get to know me. I want to know what they need from this community. And when you said that you were embarking on this journey, how long ago was this now? How long have you been?
Oh, probably, just a little over a year.
Just a little over a year.
Yeah.
I remember when you said the words when we were talking about dementia and Alzheimer's that it's important for the caregivers, for the family members, to take time to grieve the loss of who that person was so that they can then embrace who they are now. Because if you're holding on to, especially with Alzheimer's and dementia, which alters their personality and their brain so much, you have to say goodbye because if you're not, you said meet them where they are. Because if you're not, it's going to be like this. It's going to be tension and headbutting, and a heartache over and over again. It's heartache enough. And when you said that to me, I never let that go. That's always been in my head. And that's part of acceptance. Accepting this is who they are now. And but I like how you say it's a grieving process because it is a loss. Even though the physical person is still there, it's not the person that you have known all these years.
Right. And especially when someone is going through something that they have to be cared for, it's difficult for people to give up their independence, even if it's for a short time.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that they are going to be moody. They are going to have their ups and downs. And
Mm,
so it really does take a lot to think about that other person and their thoughts and
yeah.
feelings.
I love when you said that. So it's very important to be financially prepared and also emotionally prepared and get help if you need that. I mean, that's where you guys come in. That's where your company is called Caregiving Partners Solutions. There's so much in those three words. All about caregiving, all about being partners with the people you support and coming up with solutions. I mean, it's a beautiful title. It's a beautiful name of a company, I should say,
Thank
when you
you.
really
Thank
break it down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you can't do it yourself. The other thing is to get people to understand that you have to have a team. Self-care is the number one important thing that you could do in order to be a good caregiver.
And talk about that. Talk a little bit into what would self-care look like for in different ways.
There's lots of things. Sometimes you don't always have people who could come in and kind of spot you and give you time
Right.
off. But if you need to go into a room for 10 minutes and meditate or read a book
Yeah.
or get better sleep and nutrition, good nutrition and staying hydrated,
Yeah.
it's as important for you to do those things as it is for the person you're caring for getting all of those same things.
Yeah. I love
So
that.
it's treating yourself as well as the person you're caring for.
Oh, treating yourself as well as the person you're caring for. That's the key right there. I love that. Oh my God, I love that. That hit home. That hit me right in the heart when I heard that. All right. So, these aren't easy conversations to have. So to me, because you look at both sides of it. The hard conversation would be, like for me, sitting down having a hard conversation with a parent if I notice something changing. But the other one is, you know, because you're coming from caregiving. This whole conversation is from both sides. Me seeing my parents and saying, okay, we need to talk about something. Do you have your house in order? Do you have these things in order? What do you want? I'll tell you something I learned from being part of the caregiving team for my in-laws. Do you want, what is your desire to be at home? If you were at home, if hospice turns into a hospice situation, do you want to be a hospice at home or a hospice outpatient? I learned what I want from that. And
Yes.
unfortunately, we couldn't honor that for my father-in-law. He wanted to be
Mhm.
at home and we couldn't honor that because my mother-in-law was still there and there were things that were not going to be healthy for her having him be at hospice at home. And we had to take into account she was here living and viable and he was upset with us, but we were with him all the time. So that's something I wanted to share because it's not always possible. And he was of sound mind and he knew we're like, Dad, you can't go home. And it was horrible. The most heartbreaking thing we ever had to say to him.
Yeah, but that's where those conversations come in are really important
Yeah.
because um, could give some reason to him to make him feel understanding of
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
it couldn't happen. It may not be his wishes
Right.
exactly, but it's caring for the people who you're leaving behind and
Yeah.
making them understand that that is as important as just what you want.
But those hard conversations have to be had because we were able to tell him why, and we were also able to make the room as homey as possible, and we made sure somebody was there every time, every minute of every day, so he didn't feel like he was alone
Yep.
in a strange place. But
Yeah.
it was hard. But those, so what are some other hard conversations like topics or that
Well,
you
I
have?
I think it's who you want to be care who do you want to have care for you? It may not always, you may not always want your spouse. Or
Right,
more importantly, if you're not married and you don't have children, well, then it's really important for you to have conversations with, who can you depend on and not just one person. You usually choose one person as an executor of your estate,
right.
but then you need to choose some caregivers. You need to understand that it's going to be a team and
Yeah,
it's other people. And so there's just every part of the emotional as well as the legal aspects
I love
of sitting down and letting people know where these things are,
yeah, I love
and
that.
sitting down and having it, this is what it is. This is where it is.
And this is what you and your business partners support families in
Yes.
guiding them through these conversations and in guiding them through the steps that are necessary to take for themselves as well as for, family members.
Right. And our thought is that if you are prepared to be cared for, you're prepared to be a caregiver.
Oh, I love that one too. If you read, I hope that quote is on your website somewhere because that's important because that's something I've always thought about. I'm going to be a caregiver. I never think about who's going to care for me until I started down the journey with my in-laws and my sister-in-law. And I saw things that I really wanted for myself. Saw things I didn't want for myself, and I like that. Say that
Oh
again.
yeah,
What was that
yeah.
quote
My
again?
if you are prepared to be cared for,
Or,
you will be prepared to be a caregiver.
yeah, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
also,
And we
you have
try
a,
to,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, we try to go through the legal and emotional aspects. And it's those emotional aspects that really are what you need to know to be the good caregiver.
I think it's really important work. It's relevant work today because we're living older and things are happening because we're living older. But you also had a quote. I went on your website and you have a quote from Rosalind Carter. I love this quote. You want me to read it? You want me to say
Sure.
it?
Go
It
ahead.
says, there are only four kinds of people in this world: those who have been caregivers, those who currently are caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need caregivers. So the bottom line is everybody needs a Cheryl Rothbart in their world. Everybody needs the caregiving partner solutions. And I love what you're doing. I love that you decided in this third, fourth, fifth, whatever chapter it is for you, Cheryl, that you decided to do this work because I know you. I get to sit on a Zoom twice a month with you in our membership community, and you are a light and you are caring and you are loving. And I can't think of a better person I would want to sit with to help guide me than you. And I'm sure your business partners are right there the same way because we surround ourselves with like people. So, yeah. So
Thank
thank
you.
you. All right, we have to leave a dare. We don't get out of here without a dare. So, what is your dare for our listeners today?
My dare is for everyone to start to have that conversation, whether you need to have it for yourself, that you need to start to be prepared, or for your friends or loved ones who have not been prepared yet. Have a conversation with someone to get them ready to be prepared.
I love that. I love it. Have the conversation. Dare to have the conversation. You will feel relief. You will feel better afterwards. You will. Thanks, Cheryl. And we will link everything, including your website, is the best place for people to find you.
Yes,
So we
yes.
will link the website below, how you can connect with Cheryl. This is important. This is such an important life transition to take care of, to give care for, and to be proactive with. It is not the time to 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 not take notice and take care for yourself. So thank you, Cheryl, for the conversation.
And thank you for
Very
having
important.
me. I love being here.
All right, dare on. So, how are you feeling right now? Seen, validated, maybe even a little more empowered? Listen, caregiving, whether you're doing it, preparing for it, or fearing what it might mean for your future, is never just about logistics. It's about love. It's about legacy. And as Cheryl reminded us, it's about giving the people in our lives the gift of being prepared. You don't have to figure all of this out alone. This is the exact reason I created the Dare On membership community, because life's biggest transitions, they're better when navigated together. Whether you're facing caregiving, rediscovering yourself, or just craving connection, this is your space. Dare On are your people, your next right step. Click the link in the show notes and come say hi. I'm waiting to welcome you. And until next week, Dare On.